Assalamu alaikum. Today on Neuron Academy, we're going to be talking about something really profound, the final version, writing your eternal legacy. If you find this beneficial, we'd be so grateful if you'd support our work by subscribing and sharing it as a sadaqah.
You know, we often think that the biggest moments in life will be loud and dramatic. But the end of our own story, that final moment, it often comes so quietly, without any warning. It doesn't end with a bang, but with silence.
And in that silence, a page turns for the very last time. This isn't just a chapter ending. We're talking about the entire book of your life closing shut. And it's a moment that none of us can schedule, and none of us can postpone. It's really important to understand which page this is. It's not the end of that project you were working on, or the last page of your 5-year plan. All those worldly things, as important as they feel, they're just small paragraphs in the grand story of your life.
No, this is the page. The final one, the moment your time for doing anything, for any action, is over. The pen is lifted for good.
And here's the thing. Once that book is closed, the record is sealed. That's it. There are no more corrections, no footnotes you can add to explain what you really meant to do. The final version is submitted just as it is.
You know, this really gets at a huge illusion many of us live with. We kind of go through life like it's a rough draft, right? We think, oh, I'll fix that later, or I'll get more serious about my faith later. But the reality, the absolute truth of our faith is that this life is the final version. There are no do-overs after this. The time for action is right now.
Now, I know hearing all this might sound a little intimidating, but it's not meant to paralyze you or make you afraid. Actually, Islam doesn't ask us to give up on the world or to abandon our goals for success. Its message is something much, much deeper.
It asks us to make what you could call spiritual investments. What does that mean? It means you intentionally, consciously pause whatever worldly thing you're chasing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when that call to prayer comes in right in the middle of a huge meeting, that interruption, that's not a loss. That's the single most important investment you can possibly make in your akhirah, in your hereafter.
Let me tell you a quick story that makes this idea really clear. And this isn't some tale about a hermit living in a cave. This is about a disciplined, professional man navigating the same modern world we all live in.
So picture this guy. He's busy, he's incredibly focused, he's a top performer. But it didn't matter how urgent a deadline was or how important a client was. When it was time for prayer, he stopped everything. Everything. At first, his colleagues kind of made fun of him for it. They saw it as a weakness. But over time, they began to realize that his commitment was the very source of his incredible integrity.
And that's what it all boiled down to. He feared Allah more than he feared deadlines. His discipline wasn't just about managing his time, it was about managing his priorities for the sake of his Creator. And because of that, everyone eventually realized they could trust him with absolutely anything.
So eventually, the man passed away. And his business, his worldly enterprise, it closed down. But his real work, the powerful example he set for everyone who knew him, that continued on. And that is the very essence of a true, lasting legacy.
This story really helps us redefine what legacy means in Islam. See, it's not about the projects you finish or the money you make. A real legacy is the good that keeps flowing into the world because of something you did, long after you're gone. It's what continues without you.
So what does that look like in real life? Well, it could be a simple value, like honesty, that you teach to someone else. It could be a habit, like giving a little charity every day that you plant in your family. Or it could just be a standard of integrity at your job that you simply refuse to lower, inspiring everyone around you. These little seeds of goodness, they just keep growing, earning you rewards long after you've departed this life.
And this brings us right back to that central point about accountability. Our book, our final record, it's going to be judged based on what we actually did. All those good intentions we had but never acted on, all the noble plans we kept putting off for later, they just don't carry the same weight as the actions we actually saw through.
So I want to ask you a very direct, very personal question. If your page were to close tonight, if your book was sealed at this very moment, would you be at peace with what's written inside? Would you be happy with the final version of your story?
Because ultimately, the goal isn't just about what people will remember about you. The greatest success, the most powerful legacy you can ever leave, is to have written a story, page by page, day by day, that you are not afraid to open on the day you finally meet Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Presented and created by Neuron Studio.